All right, everybody, we are recording, and this is our context of early agricultural societies. This will be on the webpage, and in fact, if you want to say hi to everybody, go ahead. Hi. All right, so let's begin with our context. Our era is called the Foundations Era. This is called the Foundations Era, which we are still in. So, to begin with, this is at the end of the Paleolithic and Neolithic era. This is at the end of the Paleolithic and Neolithic era. And the Foundations era is everything that happens up to the year 600 BCE. This is everything that happens up to the year 600 BCE. And we are talking about early agricultural societies, again, after the Paleolithic Revolution, Old Stone Age is done. After the Neolithic Revolution, the New Stone Age and farming has happened. What I want you to do right now is I want you to turn and talk with your neighbor, the person next to you. I want you to look at these two pictures. I want you to do a couple things. What's going on in these pictures? Where are they located? What do you really notice about everything in the pictures, and who are the people and what are they doing? You may turn and talk with your partner, and you may talk about the pictures. And 0, I can't use names right now, so I'll just ask random student right here, stand up, and please say what you noticed about these two pictures.
You said it looks like the person sitting in the chair is like rolling over the two people standing there because it looks like they're bowing, like they're bowing down to him or something.
Excellent observation. Let's keep it going. Random student standing right here. Go ahead, stand up. And what were you guys talking about?
That's probably the servants.
Oh, so right over here we got most likely the servants. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Say it out loud. Where do you think this top one is?
Egypt. Oh.
Yep, this top one would be Egypt.
Pharaoh.
And the bottom one would be this place called Mesopotamia. You may write that down, Egypt and Mesopotamia. So now we're looking at these two pictures. Let's give our context of what's going on in the world. Paleolithic era, done. Neolithic era, going on. People planting, agricultural societies. Now they're going to grow and become states and empires, which means these societies are going to become bigger, larger, and much stronger. We are going to have emperors. Pharaohs are going to be leading. So we're going to have a very few people on the top who are in charge. Emperors, and in Egypt, a pharaoh, for example. Some of these empires, Egypt, Mesopotamia, as said, also China, during this era will form an empire or a dynasty. And in South America, there will be Andean cultures that will form their empires as well in the Andes Mountains of South America. And we'll see empires form and create bigger borders with militaries. We'll also see more of what's called hierarchy, which means people on top all the way to the bottom, connected to social classes. There will be many more social classes. Again, when a teacher or professor is talking, what do you want to do? Write down what you can. If a teacher or professor repeats something, what does that mean? It's pretty important. So, a hierarchy is people all the way on top, all the way to the bottom. People who have more power, and some people in these civilizations will have very little power, even slaves. So the pharaoh, who's like a god on the top, all the way to a slave who has almost no rights on the bottom. We'll see advanced weapons. Weapons will continue to advance and get more powerful. The chariot will become a big one. A horse and a chariot behind it with bows and arrows, iron swords, shields. The chariots will be the tanks of their era. The chariots will be the tanks of their era as empires will take over more and more land. So again, make sure you're writing this down, the box right next to it. And continuing, public projects. Public projects are projects for everyone to see. In Egypt, what would be a really, really big building in this era? Pyramids. Pyramids are tombs or funeral chambers for the pharaoh. They put a lot of gold, a lot of things for the pharaoh in there. But what's really, really important is the pyramids tell everybody who's in charge. The pyramids tell everyone who's in charge. Think about it. You have a lot of power. If you can get thousands of people to build you a burial tomb, what does that say about your power? Yeah, almost godlike. Almost godlike. Excellent. And writing will happen in this era. Writing will happen in this era as well. In Egypt, we'll see writing called hieroglyphics. But before that, we'll read about writing in Mesopotamia, cuneiform. We'll get more to that as class goes on. The earliest writing starts in Mesopotamia during this era. The writing is used for religion, literature, stories, and possibly the most important, for writing laws. This context, by the way, you will use for your introduction, to introduce your paper to your readers, which we'll be doing later. So why don't you right now compare and share your context notes to the person next to you.